So I bought an air brake trailer and I need to get it home, and the one truck that I had that was set up well with a pintle hook on the back already and the air brake fittings back here, I sold. So I'm here looking at what I've got and what can be done the quickest. Like this one I'd have to put a hitch on the back because there's nothing here, but overall condition, the rear brakes aren't bad, but they're close, and this one needs a wheel seal. The tires are all good. They're all low profile tires too. Low pro 22.5s, 295/75s. Frame's in good shape. The driveline looks to be in good shape. Airbags look good. You know, just getting a general look over it. The air tank looks good on this side. Got one air tank under here. One of the straps is broken, so I'd have to replace that. You can see this typical powder coating crap we despise. It's been sitting here for, I don't know, probably 2 years now since I bought it, and let's see if we can get it running. Nothing. Sometimes these batteries get so bad.
Yeah, I see green.
Batteries are junk. I tried. Just hold it. Hold it in the start position. These batteries must be too far gone. Oh man. I don't really want to put batteries in this truck. When I got it started, the batteries were dead, and I realized that someone had turned the marker lights on. I don't know if somebody was in the truck or if I bumped it, I don't know. But as you can see, we got a check engine light on. Being said I'm kind of low on RPMs and the speedometer doesn't work, it makes me think that it's a problem with the vehicle speed sensor or the wiring from there up, because if it was just in the cluster, it wouldn't affect the amount of RPMs I could get. But regardless, shouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm just not understanding why we have a check engine light and a engine light both when there's no codes. Leads me to believe there may be something wrong internally on that cluster, or maybe the scanner I used just wasn't sophisticated enough to see what else was going on. Possibly, I don't know. We'll look when we get home. I get the other scanner on it. This was just like a code reader type of deal. It'll show live data, but it's not fantastic. Well, the speedometer never came back, so I wonder if the batteries are going to be any good after that little bit. Well, we got something. Not enough. What do you expect? What I think where the marker lights were on for probably, I don't know, a year and a half. I don't know. The fact that it started up and ran is pretty decent. One of the problems here is I have to look back. I don't remember how much fuel was in this thing, but it seems to me that it has a lot more fuel in it now than it did before. So hopefully we didn't get some water in the fuel. I took a sample out of the filter just to see what it was like before we drove it, and it looked okay. It looked like good clean fuel. I might have put fuel in it thinking that maybe they didn't work. I don't remember. We'll have to look. I got the scanner on it, and vehicle speed, we knew that, but we had this code before we moved it. So the only way that could be possible is if possibly turning that on is if that wire might be shorted somewhere or opened. Battery and then undefined. I don't know what this is. So it will not clear this code, so that tells me it's obviously a fault right now. Are you sure you want to clear the code? Yep. Key is on. See the light's still on up there, and it will not clear. I'm gonna go down and unplug it. If it's a fault internally, then it won't let it clear. That side looks pretty clean. Say that's got some corrosion. I wonder if it's got crossover. I wonder if we've got enough corrosion in terminals. Maybe. Well, I guess I'll just take this apart and take a look. So I decided to get the meter and see what ohms resistance we had on the vehicle speed sensor, and it was OL. Either out of limits or open or whatever the case. So I want to take it out. Of course, you know, it goes into a cast steel part and they don't come out well, so not a big deal. We got it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and order this, and I'm gonna order the air tank straps I need. I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of those, and there's something else I don't remember. Oh yeah, and the batteries are no good. We've had the batteries on charge for probably an hour and a half. Nothing. JUNK supplier. I have to put a quarter fender on it. This piece of tubing rotted away. I think I have another one very similar to that over there. Since this tank has more fuel in it than I thought it did when I bought the truck and brought it home, I am pumping off the bottom, this hard line, and just that little pump there, and I'm pumping off to see if we have any water in it, because if we got water in it, I don't want it going through the engine. Now the other side, for reference, is actually about the right depth. So I look down in here, you can see it's a little ways down. I don't know how I can get that out of there. If I can, I'm gonna try. But anyways, it's down to about right in here, and that's about where it was before. And I used the hard line, stuck it down in there to get that level as well. So a couple of things, we still could be taking on some water in here, and it could be around this fitting, could be around this cap right here, that vent, or whatever that is, pressure relief is, or it could have built up here, you know, this crud build up here, and it could have came in this way if this didn't seal well. But regardless, another thing could happen is on the drive home, it could have been pulling from one tank and pulling from this tank maybe, because the line comes from each tank up to a T up to the motor. So if we have a vent plugged on that side, it won't return to that side. It can return, or this side, whichever. It can return to one side or the other. So we'll probably need to look at that as well and just be sure, because when we started this thing up, I immediately noticed it had more fuel. So we either got water in it, or on the drive home, it's pulled off one, returned to the other only. Well, I'm gonna pump some fuel off the bottom just to make sure it's not water. So here's a sample. I'll let it sit here a while, but so far there's no water in that. This vent probably has a check valve in it, so that if in the event you roll over, the fuel just doesn't come out of here and just spill all over the place. So we'll probably just take this out and check it. I don't know, there's nothing down there. Well, it's wet. It smells like diesel. It's free. There's nothing plugging that vent. Diesel didn't taste good. Go to the other side. We'll check that one. That one's free too. So there's nothing on the vents, at least not right now. I mean, I guess there could have been something in there, and it fell out while we were driving. I don't know. There is no water in that fuel whatsoever, and it looks good too. Just got a sample out of the fuel filter, and there's no water in there either. So I don't know. This has been a while, so it's hard for me to remember, but it's possible I stopped and got fuel. If I did, I put it in just this tank. I probably put like $100 in it, and if I put it in this tank, it would have brought it up to full. So maybe that's why one side had more. I don't know. I just don't know. I just want to make sure. I know there's a lot of grief to go through, but I just want to make sure there's no water in this fuel or there's a problem. So I think what I'm going to do is put this fuel in that side and bring the two levels up to be the same, because we're right at the bottom of the filler neck here. I'll bring them both up the same. I'm going to drive this truck a bunch, and let's see what happens then. This is why I don't like to pump fuel back into a tank. Even though I'm running this through a filter, I'll stop this before it gets too far down and sucking up any of that crap. Move that up on the top, let all the crud stay. Guess that's about it now. You can see how it wants to suck it all up, that crud. That's it. So we're on this edge here, we're about an inch up, and I think we're pretty close here. We're maybe a ½ inch up on this side. So I'm gonna drive it for a while, and after I do all these repairs, and then see what happens, make sure we're okay. So I just left the Freightliner dealer. I got my 2 tank straps, vehicle speed sensor, wheel seal, and I picked up 4 new batteries, because I don't know if I'm putting batteries in that truck or if I'm taking batteries out of another truck to put in that truck. I'm not keeping that truck. What I'll do is whatever I have that I use all the time, I'll put fresh batteries in it, and then I'll take the batteries out of whatever I'm using and put it in what I'm selling. They're still good batteries. They're just, I like to keep the freshest batteries for myself. It's kind of selfish that way, I guess. I mean, if somebody wanted to pay the extra, you know, batteries are $100 a piece right now, so there's $400. If somebody wanted to pay the $400 for 4 more batteries, I don't have a problem doing that, but most people don't. They want to squabble over everything. So I make sure that I get the best stuff, and theirs are good, just not the best. So here's our new vehicle speed sensor. Let's see what it reads here. .40. Well, that's good, because the last one read open, so that gives me a little bit of hope that this is all it is. All right, let's get underneath the truck and put it in. routing. Okay, get up top side, get some zip ties. So I got the steps off. I gotta get this plate off the front so I can get the batteries out. It'd be much easier. I don't have to at this point. I could probably leave these, but it was kind of a pain in the butt because it's like everything else, you know, rusty. Oh yeah, and one of these came around and sliced my finger open. I think it was this one. Nope. One of these ones. Anyway, so now we can get to the batteries. I want to get all these connections cleaned up real good. How's it going, lady?
Oh, it's going slow.
Yeah.
I like this truck. It has a lot of cubbies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah. You having a little snack there?
I saved you a cookie. It's a mint Oreo. Maybe nibbled by mice, but I haven't found any mouse droppings in here. But you know, you can have it if you want it. I saved it for you.
Thanks. I've been charging these all day, and we've got nothing. Like it's no better. So the center two rails are the positives, and the outers are the grounds. Great. You know, steel studs, or steel studs and steel nuts. And copper. What a mess. I mean, what do you think? Could this be part of the reason we're not, batteries won't take a charge? This truck. I am not rebuilding this truck. I'm cleaning up this battery box here, the front cover, because it's got some pretty good rust on it, you know, and on the sides what I can get to and whatever. But the steps are thin too, but they're just steps, so I'm not concerned they're gonna break or anything. But you know, it just stinks because that's not how we like to do things. But this is not that caliber of truck. While I've been working with the battery box and all that, somebody's been working on the interior. Or yeah, this thing's got a bad paint job. It's really, I think it's a single stage, and it needs buffed, because when I got it, it was kind of shiny, more like this. I think it would buff up nice, but there's still places like here, you know, this is actually on top of the paint, not below, but you can see how a fleet paint job is what it was. But it is what it is. And you just kind of painted around the decals here. And then they brush painted in here. Look at this crap. It's terrible. Just terrible. Look at that cover for the after treatment. That makes the truck look so bad. Like if you buff this thing out and it was shiny, it wouldn't matter because of that. And then you need these polished. Then you need the frame touched up. You know, it's like, where do you stop on these things? This is where you have to do kind of like we used to do, you know, get them in, clean them up a little bit, and make them good and reliable, and move on.
Ship them.
Ship them. It's a nice truck. You know, these are laid out nice. She likes the cubbies.
Well,
I don't really care about that.
But have this. I mean, it's probably not for this reason, but it's so easy to clean because you can't get in there good. But
Yeah,
that's
it's just a tilt wheel. But
yeah, but I like it for.
this would be a great truck for a toter home type build, like an RV, because it's 410 horse. It's a 10-speed with overdrive. It's a 354 ratio in the rear end, and it's got a diff lock. I mean, this is not your typical fleet truck. Power windows, power locks. Look at that trash bag hook.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
And then over here, you got power windows, power locks, power mirrors, left and right. And then look here, heated mirrors right there. Utility lamp on the back, regen, footwell light. And this is a dimmer and 4-ways. You got cruise control on here on your steering wheel, and you know, trolley brake. Apparently we're out of air. And we got airbag dump, fifth wheel slide. Yeah, this is a pretty decent truck. It's a shame this floor mat's in such bad shape. They actually glued that floor mat to the floor. Isn't that terrible? If this was a little bit nicer truck, I wouldn't have a problem going and getting a mat out of another truck and putting in here. This part will clean up, but you see it's kind of worn through over there. But this is a cushion. There's like foam under here, and these trucks ride pretty quiet. That seat's even got heat. It's an air ride seat with all the adjustments, and it's got heat on it too. So this is a pretty cool truck, right, lady?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool truck for somebody else. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna have to just kind of do as much as we can, but not too much, because it's never gonna be that expensive of a truck. Well, this is as far as I can get on this truck right now, because I'm leaving for an auction. There's a sale that has some equipment that I'm interested in that would make my life a little easier. So I'm going to be going to that. So I'll be gone for a while. But when we pick up on this, the next step is we're going to go ahead and clean up that battery box some more and prime it and paint it. And I need to deal with the axle seal over here, which may turn into brakes and drums or whatever else it needs. We'll go from there and see. And then after that, I want to get that airfoil off. I'm going to take that off because it's my experience that day cabs without an airfoil seem to sell faster and easier than ones with it, because they usually get used for something else. Like this truck makes a perfect 10-foot dump truck, especially with big horsepower, 10-speed rear end, and a locker. That makes a very attractive dump truck. So my thoughts are this is we'll get it running dry, and I'll put a bunch of miles on it, because the thing about trucks when they sit around is once you get them up on the road again, whatever it took to get it running and driving then is one thing, but sometimes there'll be other issues that creep up that surface, and you got to take care of them too. So I don't want to sell a truck that I think is okay. I want to be as confident in the truck as I can be, and that's one of the things I need to do in order to feel good about selling the truck. I really think I need to replace this cover. Every truck of this vintage that I see in my area is either looks just like this or very close. It's not very difficult. It's only got a bend on the bottom, a bend here, and a bend at the top. I think I could have that made pretty easy and probably make it out of something better than just, plain steel. Maybe I could have it done out of aluminum or stainless or whatever. So that'll be the next step, and then I have to decide. I think at the very least we're going to buff this thing, but in order to take this truck to the next level above where it's at now, like right now, if we just put it together and we sell it as a good running driving truck, the value's here. In order to get to that next value, it's going to take a fair amount of work and time. Not a ton of money, but time. Like this paint, we're never going to get away from this kind of stuff with this type of paint job. These chips where the paint didn't hold because the prep work sucked. So the next thing to consider is, should we paint this thing and go back to white? I think it would be far more attractive as a white truck than it is as it is right now with that red truck. But that means, now a lot of other things become more critical. So now we need to sandblast and paint the frame. At the very least, we need to do away with the gray wheels in the front and go to the 5, at least if we can find white wheels, which I have. If I've got 5-hole white wheels, that's what we should use on the front, so at least they match. Now the studs are long enough. I believe this truck came with aluminum wheels back in the day, because there's a lot of threads left there, so we need that much. So we have enough for aluminum wheels, and I believe we have enough for one outer aluminum on the rear as well. But that's like the higher tier of this truck, and I just don't know if it's worth it. And then we need, if we paint it and we do all this, we need to get a mat for it for the inside. The rest of the interior is really nice. It's just that floor mat. But anyways, that's where we're at. Leave it in the comments. What do you think we should do? The other option is, I could quite easily part this thing out, sell the cab, sell the hood, sell the motor. That's the parts I wouldn't want. Oh, and the after treatment. I would not want that stuff. And then keep the stuff I do want, like, you know, the front axle, the tires, the wheels, the transmission, the fuel tanks, the rear differential, the air ride suspension. If I sold the cab, the hood, and the motor out of this, not only would I get all my money back out of the truck, but I would be in the profit on the truck enough to cover my time, which this will take me, a day, maybe 2 days to get it stripped down to what we want to sell off. I'd be in the profit, getting my money back on all that. It would cover my time, and I'd be in the profit of actual parts, and all my parts would be for free. And a lot of times that's what happens with these trucks, because that it's a lot less time and effort to get the same result. So that's why sometimes we part them out instead of fixing them and selling them. But let me know what you think, guys. Leave it in the comments. What do you think you'd do with the truck? It's going to be a little while before I can get to it. I'll be gone for just a little while, but we'll bring you back when we're ready. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.